After our interviews at ISE, we had some less formal conversations about what was on people's minds and a little crystal ball gazing. In these 4 pieces, we get to hear some really interesting and insightful thoughts about where we may be going next.
Yeah, my name is Michael. I'm in the industry since 11 years now, and I started as an embedded engineer for wireless microphones, and now I'm a product manager for wireless microphones. We are definitely not finished yet, and it depends a bit on where we look in. I guess in live stage music environments, there is not so many innovation in the horizon, but especially in the meeting environment, hybrid meetings, content capturing for Instagram and other things. There is a lot of potential, podcasting also. And saying this, security is also there a feature or important for many things, because even with voice data, you can do a lot of things. Nowadays, I guess the supply chain was holding us back in the past years, but now we will see a lot of innovations. But in the acoustic field, that's physics. So there's an end, but in the environment around this, there are the innovations. So how to use the audio coming from a microphone capsule, for example. So there we see, I guess, a lot also here in terms of connectivity, security, usage of beam forming and stuff like this.
Ioan Williams, salesperson, door opener. I've been in the industry 25 years. I suppose it's the 4 Ps that people always talk about. It's the product, it's the pricing, it's the placement, and it's the promotion. If you're ticking most of that boxes, sales is reasonably easy. Having said that, some products are more difficult than others. Other products are very niche-y. I mean, come towards, I can speak about Hitachi. I suppose I was there 12 years and they're no longer a brand in projection anymore. But towards the end of Hitachi projector business, we were playing catch up as far as technology was concerned. We were behind the curve on laser projection. Our pricing, we used to be able to charge a premium for it because it was a quality product, but when we didn't have the correct product and we were playing catch up, it was very hard to justify that price, and sales suffered accordingly. It doesn't matter how good a salesman you are or how good the relationship is, people have got businesses to run and they've got to be profitable. If you haven't got the right product, it's very, very difficult. People will always need AV technology, and for them to differentiate themselves perhaps from their competition, having the correct AV is becoming more and more important. Digital displays, a picture tells 1,000 words, I suppose. So, we sell big tellies, and the big tellies are getting bigger and brighter and more affordable to run. So there we go, big tellies of the future.
So my name is Colin Farquhar and I'm the Senior Vice President of Sales at Vitec. People are, at this point in time, trying to work out, how am I going to utilise AV technology? How is that going to influence or support the evolving work environment that I have? I don't have all my staff out in the building anymore. I've got to manage this remote workforce. I've got to understand that. I've got to be able to utilise the technologies that I have available to create a kind of a global culture for my organisation. How do I use AV technology to enable that? How does the cloud and service support that? How do I manage the distribution of content effectively but also securely? So there's lots of areas of challenge for businesses, and it presents, I say challenges, it presents lots of questions for us as vendors and for the industry generally, but also I think creates lots of opportunities. As the industry evolves and changes, immediately there's a new technology, there's a new thing that's happening, and our job is to see that and react to it, and hopefully benefit our partners, ourselves, and our customers through creating their new experiences.
So I'm Rob Green. I've been in the industry for over 25 years, and I've worked in various roles, but I've worked in product management for video over IP and video processing over those years. The AV over IP still has a long way to go before it starts to unify and settle down. I think there's too many pots being stirred at the moment. So I think there is going to be some kind of unification or some kind of ubiquitous standard that comes out and takes a lot of that frustration away as to what technology to choose, and then the technology kind of fades into the background. It's not something that is a feature in itself. It's just a way to get multimedia around a campus or across a state. So I think there's going to be a settling down of AV over IP. I think it will take time. So there's got to be consideration of the use cases and the different applied technologies. But I think going forward, the excitement is really in things like virtual production. I think this immersive experience is something that we've always been at the heart of in my career, is moving from SD to HD to 3D, you remember those days? And then 4K and now 8K and beyond. And that keeps it fresh, because there's lots of technical challenges that come with moving and processing that amount of data. And this is why I stick around doing what I'm doing, because the technology changes around me. It keeps it fresh, it keeps it exciting. There's obviously a threat for smaller players that need to make money, and we've seen this much more in broadcast than we have in Pro AV. There's been a lot of consolidation and a lot of acquisition, because I think the IABM said that only half of the companies in the industry were making any money. That's a lot of companies that are losing money and that are still innovative, but they just don't have that mass to really grow and become a huge player, so they get acquired for the technology. I think the same would happen in this industry, but this industry is much bigger and it covers many more markets, so I don't think it will happen to the same extent. I think there'll be lots of niche use cases where people will be able to make money from it. That immersiveness that I think is going to... The project that's going on with the MSG Sphere in Vegas, that's exciting, because that's changing the way that you would go to a concert. Sound, vision, just completely immersed in something that's not been experienced by humans before. That's pretty cool. And a lot of the technology that we're doing, both from audio mixing desks to LED walls to bouncing floors with the bass, all of that is driven by technology that I've been part of indirectly. And I love that, because then I can tell my kids, we're in that's what I do. And suddenly it kind of becomes real. So yeah, being able to give my kids a great experience of new technologies, that's what keeps me happy.
I'm Rob Moodey. I've been in AV for 18 years and more widely in broadcast for a good decade and a bit before that. So a lot of people would say I've learned a few things about the moving image over the years. Well, I've personally ridden a lot of technology waves. I was there when broadcast went digital and SDI started. I was there when MPEG started and we went digital broadcast. I was there when PCI Express moved on. The thing that actually excites me most is the emergence of the IPMX standard. It's the first time anyone has tried to make all the different islands of technology join up with each other. A lot of folks have spoken about interoperability before, but there's never been a vehicle like this to use, and I'm really excited by that. Looking back, we've always seen mergers and acquisitions. That's why they're regulated the way they are. And there's always been the scope for someone new and inevitably small to start. And of course there's that old adage that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Those startups are great at making things begin. And that's what we as an industry need, the new ideas to begin. And then the big guns put their money and their muscle behind it, and they sustain it. I think it's perfectly natural that should happen, and there will always be somebody who's got a good idea, who was working for a big company where the big company didn't align with it for some reason, and they said, you know what, I'm going to start my own company and commercialise my idea. So, yeah, all of the things that we look around us, they almost all started small. And eventually you reach a point where you say, am I enjoying this so much that I want to get bigger? Do I need to go out and get money? Or do I want to start another startup? And we see a lot of that as well. Well, we see around us lots of things that are not the way we would like it, that's for sure. But that's not a first either. We've all come through some things in our own lifetime, just as our parents did in their lifetime. It's the swings and roundabouts environment that sometimes things get a bit tough. And yep, as that well-known phrase goes, necessity is the mother of invention. I read an article recently by a panel of CEOs, and they said that we as CEOs have considered ourselves to be guilty of having our blinkers or our blinders on and not being aware of what was going on around us. We were too focused on what we were doing and making it more efficient. And then suddenly we found ourselves in the situation of having to do something different. We took the blinders off and said, hey, I didn't think that was possible. So I think that is certainly a recommendation for everybody. Have a little bit more awareness of what's around you, because there may well be something that's useful that can take you forward.